Use headphones for best experience. It was January 25th, 1981, Singapore. The time is around past 12 at midnight. That day, a person returned to his apartment late at night from a movie. To go to his block upstairs, he went to get on the lift. Now outside the lift, he saw a big bag. He thought of whose bag is this and who kept it here. And to know what was inside, he opened the bag slightly. And when he saw inside the bag, he was frozen in shock, because inside the bag there was a dead body of a 9-year-old girl. If you think how a 9-year-old girl's body might fit in a small bag means, killer murdered that kid in like the fetal position. He bent her hands and legs like that and kept her in the bag. The person who was shocked to see this immediately informed the police. And the police who came there started the investigation. And when the investigation is going on one side, in the next 2 weeks, a murder happened in the same apartment. Hearing the news that a small girl's dead body was found in the apartment, police went to the crime scene, and when they went there, they sent her body to autopsy and started the investigation. And in the autopsy report, it is said that the little girl was raped, and the cause of death is smothering. That is, it came to know that he killed her by preventing her from breathing. In this, as a first stage, police started investigating 250 people in that area. Also, they inquired the apartment people. So when the investigation for this murder is going on February 7th, 1981, that is 2 weeks after this murder, at midnight police received an information of another dead body in the same apartment. When police went there, it came to know that it was a 10-year-old boy and his name is Ghazali. In the crime spot, Ghazali might be drowned to death, or else he might be killed by smothering like Agnes. Like this, on the spot, forensic pathologist said this. First, Agnes' body was found near the apartment's lift. Now Ghazali's body was found on a grass floor between block 10 and 11. Not only that, the cause of death for both are the same. So with this, both the murders were done by the same person. Also, the killer might be in the same apartment, thought the police. That's when the police noticed another thing. Near the small boy's dead body, they saw blood drops. With that, they thought this murder might have happened a few minutes before, and now started to follow the blood drops. How it looked like means, when the killer carried Ghazali's body, if the blood was dropped down, it looked like the same. The police who followed the blood drops. First, it went to the ground floor of the apartment. After that first floor, second floor. Like this it went until the 7th floor. But after the 7th floor, the blood drops was not there. Now the police checked around the 7th floor corridor. At the same time, in the same corridor, a person was ready to go out urgently. Police saw him at the same time, he also saw the police. Now police went near his flat, and from outside they saw inside his flat. Police who thought that it was weird asked him what was his name, and where he works. For that he said his name is Adrian Lim, and said that his work is to do exorcism. Now the police asked whether they can check his flat, and he also said yes. Now when both the police entered his flat, they started to feel scared. Because there was things for doing black magic everywhere, and some god statues like this, the house was very haunted. That's when the police saw 2 women inside the house, and asked Lim, who are they? For that Lim said both of them were his wives. And next, when the police saw the house casually, there was blood here and there in the kitchen like a butcher shop. When the police asked where the bloodstains came from, for that he said this morning he got chicken and chopped it here to cook. That's when the blood splattered, he said. Now the police slowly went and checked all the 3 rooms one by one. And in one of the room there was god statues, and there were bloodstains even in that statues. Seeing this, the police became suspicious, and suddenly saw Lim taking something from the hall and running to the bathroom. Police who noticed this immediately ran behind him. Lim put the stuff he had in his hand in the toilet and tried to flush it. But police stopped him at the correct moment, and the thing he tried to flush is a bunch of human hair. Now the police became fully suspicious, called some more police force for help, and started searching the whole house. Now the police who saw a diary took that and checked, in that there was 2 names. One is Agnes, and another is Ghazali. Now they immediately arrested him and his 2 wives, and started to investigate what happened. Those 3 who were silent for a while finally confessed this, naturally communicating with the evil spirit. And to learn the spells like this, he was very interested. So from one of his uncles, he learned everything. After that, Lim, who came to this apartment, started to do this as a main business. In our country, if someone is possessed, we will take them to a priest or mosque. Similarly, if someone is possessed or mentally disturbed, they will take them to Lim. And Lim in the name of treatment. He will pour a tub full of water and blindfold the clients who come to him, and ask them to keep their feet inside the tub, and he will mildly pass the current inside the tub, and when they start to scream due to the current shock, he will cheat like he was doing exorcism. But when the days passed, he started to abuse his clients. For that he used a trick to the clients who come to him. He will say that someone has put an evil curse on them. And if it should leave them, he asked them to have sexual relationship with him. Some people will believe him and do as he says, but those who didn't believe it, he used a fake trick. He will make the people who doesn't believe to sit and roll 4 to 5 eggs before them, in that he will choose one egg and ask them to break it. And when they break it, there will be a lot of black needles inside it. When they became scared, seeing that, he will say that it is a symptom of them being possessed, and now he will make them to agree to have sexual relationship with him. He will heat the injection needles in the fire and inject that into the egg, and seal that gap with white powder. So when you look from outside, it will look like an actual egg, and both his wives were the victims who got caught by this method. If he can easily control women means, he started to think that he can control a lot of women. At that time, he met a girl named Lucy. Lucy is a salesgirl. She will go to each apartment and sell makeup items. So unfortunately, Lucy went to Lim's flat one day to sell products. And seeing Lucy, he thought that he should make her his third wife somehow. So he asked Lucy to come and talk inside. And seeing 2 women inside the house, Lucy went inside. And when Lucy went inside, Lim said his evil spirit story and started to brainwash her. But Lucy didn't care about it. And when Lucy got ready to leave the house, he gave her milk and asked her to drink it before she leaves. And she also started drinking it. And in a few minutes, now Lim started to abuse Lucy, who was unconscious. And whenever she gained her conscious, he repeatedly injected her with sleeping dosage. And for a week, he kept her in the flat and abused her. 1 week later, Lucy escaped from him and complained to the police immediately. This thing made Lim very angry. So to escape from this police problem, he made a plan. Since Lim has a lot of religious faith, he will pray to a lot of God. And in that, he thought that Indian goddess Kali is the most powerful. And he thought that if he give human sacrifice to Kali, he can escape from the case. So with his 2 wives, he started to search people for sacrifice. On January 24th, 1981, around 4 in the evening, one of Lim's wives went near the church thinking that some children might come there. That's when she saw Agnes, who was returning to home from the school. And she went to Agnes and asked her to come home with her, saying that she has a lot of snacks at home, and took Agnes to her house. And when she came home, they gave her snacks, but they mixed sleeping pills in that. And when she fainted, Lim started to rape her. And a few minutes later, when the small girl was unconscious, they dumped her in a tub in the bathroom and started to drown her. Now Agnes regained her consciousness, and immediately, without being able to breathe, she died. They kept her dead body in the bag and kept it near the lift. And in 2 weeks, when they searched for their next target, when all 3 of them were going in a taxi, they saw 3 children playing, and one of them is Ghazali. They got down, spoke with him, and asked him to come to their home. Ghazali, who wished to go ride in a taxi, accepted to go with them, and when they took him home, they mixed sleeping pills in his snacks like before, and when he fainted, they cut his hair and stabbed him with a needle-like object in his shoulder. That's when the blood splattered in their kitchen. Now they collected the blood in a vessel, and all 3 of them started to drink. After that, they applied it on the god statues. At the same time, Ghazali gained his consciousness, and his nose started to bleed. Seeing this, 3 of them drowned him in the tub and killed him like Agnes. After that, they carried Ghazali's body and put him down. And after that, when they returned to their flat, they noticed the bloodstains on the steps. I said that Ghazali's nose was bleeding, right? When they carried his dead body, his nose started to bleed. They didn't notice it at that time. Now the 3 of them started to clean the blood drops immediately, but they were able to clean only a little distance from the flat they were living, because the news was immediately informed to the police, and they came to the crime scene. Now Lim, who noticed that investigation is going on downstairs, he started to get ready thinking that he might close the door and go away. And he wore pant and shirt and came out, and at the same time the police came, only because the police worked fast. In this case, Lim got caught that day. On May 25, 1983, the judgment came to this case. Since this case was a sensational case in Singapore, to know the judgment, people gathered in front of the court. That's when they gave death sentence to all three of them. On November 25, 1988, all three of them were hanged to death.